What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Make It Kustom. I'm Carl Fisher, and we got Elio in the shop working. We got Adam in the shop on one of his days off, making a couple of little brass hammers.
What's up?
Today, I am going to be working with a little bit of brass as well. So what I am going to be doing is making door handles for the Roadster out of brass cast or bronze cast safe handles that I found on Marketplace. So don't forget to like, click subscribe, hit notifications. Let's get to work. All right, hey, another Marketplace find. Finally got myself an anvil, woot woot. Has a little hardy hole in it. Still looking for a forged one, but that cast one was cheap enough. It was worth picking up. But check these guys out. I actually bought material to make brass door handles for this car. And almost the exact same day, I was surfing Marketplace and I saw these come up, and it was really hard to tell how big they were, what's, you know, like how heavy they were gonna be, and if they were too long or like, you know, but this is almost exactly what I had pictured to make a door handle as for this car. So we talked about, you know, continuity and fabrication in the past, and that's something that I'm a big fan of, is when somebody builds a car, you see certain design aspects kind of throughout. So if you're designing a piece like a dash, or you're designing a piece like a door handle or whatever, you're taking some design aspects of the things that are around it. So, case in point, this door handle is so similar to the bronze cast center windshield that is kind of the idea I had in mind. Anyway, one thing I am gonna do, or I'm thinking about doing, is grinding a peak. I don't know if I should or not, but I was thinking about grinding a peak into this so that it peaks just like the Duval windshield. And then I was also thinking, because it kind of sticks out a little bit far, I might try bending it. I might try bending one in a little bit. You see how this factory, like we're gonna use the same door handle here as well. So this one kind of curves down a little bit. If this handle was here, it would be sticking up. And I just don't really like that. I think it sticks up too high. So we need to find a way to make it a little bit lower. We could also, you know, kind of just grind it and make it so that it was low. No, we're gonna try bending it. I think that's the idea. Anyway, that is the whole plan for today. I made bronze door handle or brass door handles on my hot rod. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but these pre-YouTube started life as like 1-inch hexagon solid brass. And I just sat there for 12 hours and, you know, with a bunch of grinding, this is what was inside. So that's why we're doing this today. I am going to take these to a full polish, so we will kind of grind our shape and then bring it up to a full polish. The other cool thing that came with these are these little pieces of cast bronze that are made as, like, how complete is that? Look at that. Like, we'll actually have a piece on there as well. So the same deal here. We can cut that into whatever shape we want and make ourselves some door handles. Well, I think the first things first is I'm gonna have to put a bend in these things, and they just stick out a little bit too much. So I'm gonna try that first, because if bending them ruins them, then we'll have to kind of come up with a different design. I don't think it should ruin it though. I just don't know. I don't know if I've ever tried. I know brass will bend, you know, but cast bronze, let's see. I've twisted brass before and made like door handles like on the inside of my hot rod. I made some twisted brass hex bar handlebars on a motorcycle I built. So I know the feel of it a little bit. So if you start bending it and it's too cold, it'll crack. And if you start, or you can go too hot. So like you kind of gotta have a bit of pressure on it and feel it. Like I'm feeling it right now, and I just sort of got the bend I wanted. I might go a little bit more, maybe in this area. Wow, that actually bent really nice. That was quite effortless, actually. You just kind of feel for it to get soft, and that was that. Here's the difference. So it's a very subtle difference, but dead straight to a nice curve. I think we're definitely gonna curve them all. I like that. Okay, now let's try and make them all almost the same. Here we go. Starting to fall now. Ow, that's hot. Whew. Trying to get a look at you. Come on. Little more. Well, it's good to know that it's acting like bronze should, you know? Nice and soft. Didn't crack on us. It's not brittle. Like I say, I don't work with these metals a lot. Sometimes they can be finicky. Starting to feel it go now. Getting soft. Oh yeah. Whew, went a little much there. But luckily, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna grind those parts off of those. This one's pretty. That one I kind of bent a little more at the tip. I kind of like it, so I might try and match that up. Now I'm pretty sure my idea is just gonna be to make a peak. Like this edge here isn't gonna stay. I'm just gonna roll everything nicely until I can get like a sharp peak going throughout. And that to me will be like if we're looking at the Duval windshield and this is the center post. Nice peak. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with those little pieces yet that go at the bottom, but like we could just put a peak in those. We also don't even need to use them. We could just make like a nice machined little collar for the bottom, either out of brass or aluminum or stainless or something, and or nothing at all. So yet to be decided. I think nothing at all would actually look better. Like just maybe some kind of nice spacer so that the paint doesn't get worn. Basically, we're going to drill a hole through for the size of a tube that accepts this bolt. This is a 1/2-inch bolt, so we'll use like a 1-inch DOM tube that has a 120 wall thickness, which brings us to almost 1/2 inch. So we'll drill a 1-inch hole in there, basically, is what I'm thinking. Now, with the tube going through, I don't want the tube to go right through to this side because I don't want anything coming out past our bead roll door panels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some kind of maybe a square hole in here, and then I'll bend a piece of sheet metal that goes in, across, and back up, and it's open at the bottom. Then I'll drill my hole for that tube to go straight through. Now, then this pin, we'll get the bolt head of this off and we'll lock this pin into the handle. This pin will go through, and the end of this pin will stick past the 1/2-inch hole that we have in our plate that drops in, across, and out. That's going to end up being about there. Then we're going to have to attach a little bit of a lever arm onto this pin. So to do that, we'll probably drill a hole in the end of the pin and thread it so that we can bolt on a little plate that has a hole in the end that can push down on our bear claw latch here. So basically that has to be pushed down on to open the door. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm not going to go too crazy into the explanation because I feel like you'll just get it immediately as soon as I start making some pieces. Actually, I just thought of this. That's not the next step. The next step is actually getting the door handle located. We've got to drill the hole for the door handle so we know where that plate's going to be, and so on and so forth. That's what is actually next. The shape I'm thinking of for this piece is basically a channel. And if it's a channel, it might as well be a piece of tube. So, what do we got? Like that. I could just cut that. It seems a little thick. Like, it doesn't need to be that thick. But, I mean, we could take a piece of 14 gauge and bend it also. Maybe I'll do that. So now basically what I'm thinking is that I can stick this, wait a minute, which one goes where? There's a left and a right. This one's gonna go here. So I'm just going to trace this out on here, lining up that hole. Same thing on the other side, easy peasy. Then that shaft will stick through and I can weld my little tab on there with the rod going through this little open section at the bottom. Basically what I'm trying to figure out here, man, my face is super dirty. I've got to lock this bolt into this. Okay, so I want to lock this into here somehow, and it's threaded. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably like impact gun and red Loctite this in, and then I might drill a little hole and then use a split pin and tap that in so that there's absolutely no way on the coldest day when you are reefing on it, you know, it's not going to happen. But if you had to really reef on it, you couldn't. You just couldn't. I'm sure the thread Loctite would be enough. But anyway, I want to do that first. And then I'm going to cut this end off and basically file it into a little bit of a double flat spot so that I can make a slotted hole in a piece of plate that I can drill and tap a bolt to bolt that on. That way, assembly wise, this door handle is, you know, one and the same with the shank that's going to be going through. So I can assemble it by just slipping it in from the one side, and we will put the plate on to captivate it within this plate and our tube, which will be in there. This tube will also be welded to the outside skin. It will be welded to this piece. This piece will be welded to the inside skin. We have a strong structure there. Now we'll be able to slip this on, put our plate on that has an offset hole on it right here, so that that will push a rod down to our bear claw latch. That's kind of what I'm thinking, through this little slot. If you can think of a better way, put it in the comments. We put a lot of thought into how that's going to go down for ease of disassembly and simplicity and whatnot, what have you. So I think that's going to be the best way. Perhaps we'll have to put a little bit of a spring on it to help with the weight of this door handle. Maybe. Like, you don't want to go over a set of train tracks and it, you know, boom, and opens your door or something, right? So you might want to have a little bit of a pull spring in that latch mechanism somewhere, perhaps. But for the most part, that bear claw latch is pretty tough. Like, it takes force to make it go, right? So overthinking, it's fine. We're going to continue on by gunning these on with some thread Loctite, I think. A little red Loctite, ooey gooiness. Put some on the bolt too. I just saw this thing online somewhere, and it was how to apply Loctite. And it showed you with like a clear threaded hole, somebody applying Loctite just on the bolt, threading it in, how much coverage did it get, put it on the bolt, put it just on the inside of a nut, how much coverage does it get, or put it on both surfaces, how much coverage does it get. Obviously, both surfaces is the way to go. Full coverage. So this is the goodbye forever Loctite job. Full coverage, red Loctite. I think this is actually probably better than gunning it on. Just crank it. So I can make sure I'm not gonna break it, maybe? Ooh. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Honestly, we probably don't even need to pin that, but I probably will anyway. Yeah, gotta do another one. Oh yeah, good and seized up. Okay, this is never the easiest thing to do, but you'd have to start this a little bit like this. You know, when I originally bought these handles, I was like, 1/2 inch thick bolt. That's massive. That's too big. Nah, that is perfect. We have enough so we can actually have like a nice size. This, I mean, whatever bolt is holding that doesn't really have to be that crazy. It's just captivating, but. And these things lock in there pretty good. No play, we'll be able to bolt that tight. That should be awesome. Tick, 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 tick. Now we're gonna have to kind of line these up. Something like that. Might have to drill this hole bigger so that that tube actually slides through it a little bit. I'm not gonna cut this out. It'll just kind of sit behind because I wanna leave this bead. Our door panel only gets up to here. Perfect. That works. You like that? Tick, 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 tick. Tick, 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 tick. So I just kind of marked out where the other linkage piece is. And the reason being is that I think I need a little bit more room here for that linkage rod to maybe come on the back side of our little bracket so that it can just barely stick through enough for a washer and a little cotter pin. That's how I'm thinking about attaching the linkage itself. So what I want to do is actually I'll probably just drill a hole here and then maybe cut like a bit of a tapered slot into this piece so that there's just room for a 1/4 inch rod to exist behind there. Yeah, just basically a slot with a rounded end on it. And I'll just round these corners nice or whatever, and then we'll cut the other door and weld these back in. All right, let's try assembling this. We'll see where everything sits. Something like that, kind of. I think I'm gonna give it a tack. We'll tack that. We'll see how it is. Maybe we'll adjust this out a little bit. We'll try our piece on and just see. It's a little bit tight in here, so I'm a little concerned. We'll see how it goes. This is the finicky stuff, okay? Building cars. Things get finicky. Sits just below the skin there. Could push it back a little if we wanted to. Yeah, right about there. Yeah, that's under flush. Got a little bit sticking out on this side. Just a little bit of a protrusion. I think that'll be okay because we'll just kind of weld in there. Gives us good clearance for our hand. Knuckles aren't gonna hit the paint. Yeah, I think that looks beautiful. I even don't mind the shape. Like the fact that it doesn't have a peak. I probably still peak it, but I kind of like it. Nice, simple, hidden. We can kind of make these parts look a little nicer once we get everything in, but I'm stoked. That's gonna work. It's gonna work great. Then our door panel can stay totally clean nothing, no cutouts, nothing. It's okay if the brass is a little bit fat because we're gonna sand more on it, you know? And there's gonna be a little bit of paint buildup on that. But the idea is that I want this area to not need any Bondo. That's why I used a little bit of silicone bronze filler. Doesn't take as much heat to melt it. So basically what that allows you to do is add more filler without really adding more heat. So then this area didn't really like, there's a little bit of a low there, but that's okay. A little bit of Bondo will kind of fix that. But it's important to get this kind of edge. Like whenever you're doing body work, you want your edges of things to be right so that you don't have to build up Bondo on something that is an edge, you know? I'm gonna probably put a little plastic washer, just a tiny little plastic washer to protect that so that when it does get painted, we don't have brass against, you know, metal or paint. Okay, well this side is like just about done. I'll probably swap onto the other side, get it caught up to speed, and then we can start making our linkage rods. Okay, so I can make this rod, I'm just gonna take something that's easier to bend. This is like, I think 1/8 just steel filler rod for TIG welding. And I'm just gonna make my arm. So I'll start with a 90 degree. I'm gonna make this out of stainless 1/4 inch. That's the plan anyway. So with this, you know, directly sideways, I wanna come straight down, and then I kinda wanna come over and down. So I'm gonna go like this, and then probably about right there. Try giving it a bit of a bend. Just trying to eyeball center, kinda, you know? So next spot's gonna be right about there. I'm gonna go back to straight. We'll see what we get. Yep. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Right about like that. Okay. The nice thing about having a bent rod also like this is that when I make this, if I need to do some fine adjustments, I could just kind of pull the rod out and give it a little bit more bend or less bend, and it would make it longer or shorter. So I'm going to go ahead and try this on the other side and just see if the exact same shape will work reversed for that side, and it should. And then we'll bend this out of some stainless round bar, drill some little holes in the ends so that we can accept a set screw, or sorry, not a set screw, a cotter pin. And then to install, we should be able to just push it through the back side of both holes and add one washer and a cotter pin. So this is exactly what I mean is what I'm doing right now is I'm checking the door handle, like that it's sitting nice and flat, you know, like where you want it to sit. And it's sitting down a touch right now. So this rod is just a little bit too short. So what I can do is I can just kind of bump these angles a little bit more straight, and it will actually make it a little bit longer. So I already did this once, but it needs one more final adjustment. That's probably hopefully good. Hey, go in the hole. There you go. Okay, and door handle looks beautiful. I think it does anyway. Oh, that is so nice. Oh my goodness. Okay, so obviously we have to put our pins in there now. We have our little linkages, heavy duty, 1/4 inch. It's not going anywhere. Now we're here. We're already making them out of stainless. We're already sanding them. We're already gonna be doing some like sanding and polishing on the handles. Might as well polish these little guys. I mean, I don't know. Little cotter pin. That one's kind of hard to access. There we go. Got it. There we go. Yeah. Look at that. Well, I still have a couple of tiny little blemishes to get out, but you can see how well the brass really like just shines right up. Love using brass. It's so rewarding just to see like a beautiful gold piece when you're done. I'm gonna do the other one, and then we'll assemble the door handles and move on to the trunk handle. I found some little washers here that are about 3/4 on the outside. So I've got my 1/2-inch hole punch. I'm just gonna try and open those up a little bit. See if this will help protect the paint, you know? Oh, that thing just split apart. Nah, doesn't care. Oh, I love it. That looks so sweet. Oh, it works so good. Man. Handles look great. Super stoked. Hope you guys like them too. What I'm thinking for adaptation here. Basically, I would like to cover up what's here. I could weld stuff, I guess, but basically what I'm gonna do is make a bit of a collar that should cover most of it. I still am gonna have to weld that up. But basically what I have to do is I have to machine a piece that is this thick so that it can sit inside this large hole of the trunk latch onto here. So I've got a piece of just 1-inch DOM tube, 1/2-inch hole in it. I'm going to turn the outside down with the lathe until it kind of has like a little bit of a swoop, like what our door handles have, and like I want this to sit up a little bit. So yeah, well I'll make like a little bit of a collar here that's gonna weld to the trunk. I don't know why. Just like trying it all ways to avoid like having to fill this tiny little crescent half moon shape, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do it now. It's it just sucks. Little dirty finger template. When you do that, like not only do you get like a little bit of a pattern there, it's like pretty sharp, the imprint. It might be hard to see on camera that you get in here. So it does work really good for a template, just saying. There it is. Woo. Love it. Okay, I'm about to show you the hot rod, but just before we see the beautiful handles all over this hot rod, I need to tell everybody that we are doing metal shaping classes here all year long. We've already put dates up for the next 4 months, March, April, May, June. Those dates are on the site right now. Get over there if you're interested because the spots are already filling up. Also, we've got a new product that a lot of you have been asking about. We had talked about it months ago, but finally we're getting it on the website and it's on there now. If you guys are interested, come with me. Let's have a look. So you saw I used this shaping station all day today, right? And the last couple of days, because those handles took a really long time. We designed this to be with our Mother Tucker shrinking stump as like the most compact metalworking station that you'll ever need, basically. So like right now, this thing is completely loaded. 3 different sets of T-dollies. I've got all kinds of like mushroom dollies, big T-dollies that I've made, all kinds of different stuff, tons of hammers. We also make these cool little spacers, these dividers. So in a kit, what you're gonna get is you're gonna get a complete arm. So if you come over to this side, you can see we've got, this is what I say is one arm. So it'll bolt to the side. You'll have this plate, the bottom plate, they weld together. You'll have 4 different sizes of these that you can weld into any one of these slots. That's the beauty of the system that we created, is that you can put these absolutely anywhere. We're gonna make air tool racks that also go on. You can add a second layer and do one down here. Like our stand over there has 3 different arms on it. A million different ways you can do this, but it's all just dead easy, weld it together in your garage yourself. We've got these little divider pieces. I'll show you how those go in. They just kind of slide in like this and click down. And now you can kind of divide your dollies and keep everything organized. That's the whole point. Not only that, is that on the end, these are designed to take a hitch receiver tube. This is tube that you can get anywhere. It's 2.5 inch, 238 wall hitch receiver tube. So any place that fabricates like, decks or anything, this is common stuff. So you'll be able to buy your own hitch receiver tube. And now you've got a post that you can attach any dolly onto. We've made planishing hammer mounts for this. We've made, this extension arm, because this itself it's nice and low so that you can work panels still here and all your hammers sit low, right? That's like kind of part of the design. So we make this arm that comes up that gives you another height to work with, that is adjustable in and out, that is adjustable up and down. We've got one here. We started making these tables as well, where it's just a 1/2 inch piece of plate that's got a few inside and outside radiuses on it, as well as like a 90-degree corner. Those DXF files are free for all of our Patreon members. These DXF files are free for all of our Patreon members. But if you would like, all of this stuff is on the site now. Some of the heavier things we're not really gonna be shipping, so we might send that out as a DXF file until further notice. But we are gonna be able to get you guys the builder's kit for this, like rather than sell you a whole arm, because that would just be expensive to ship, and you guys are all builders. We're trying to make it cheap for you and everything. So we're gonna manufacture a little welder's kit that is this piece of hitch receiver tube with a couple of raw, like not coated nuts so that they're weldable. We'll already burn those holes in there. Like this is thick tube and the holes are big so that we can use big, hardware so that everything is nice and strong. So we'll take care of the stuff that we can do here easier than you can do at home, like plasma cut all the holes so that your welder's kits are inexpensive and readily available on the site. You can build yourself this arm. So we'll have 5-inch pieces, 2.5 inch pieces, and 1/2 inch pieces available on the site as well. This right here is kind of our classroom setup. So all year long, we're gonna be running classes in here. We've done 2 already, our guinea pig classes. Shout out to November class, December class. Love all you guys. We had an amazing time here. We ate some really good food. We did a lot of metal shaping. Everybody got in on projects and practiced what we learned in this class. So it's a basics metal shaping class, no experience necessary. You can come here totally green, as some people did and did surprisingly incredibly well with all this new information. There's actually some people from November and December class who have already signed up to come back, which blows me away, and I'm so excited to see them again. So yeah, get on japhandskustoms.com, go have a look, sign up if you'd like to. Here is a look at what the kit will be for those arms to build your own shrinking stump extension. We cut these out with the fast cut. We use cold rolled steel so that it's very clean, nice, easy to weld. If you buy 2 arms, then it'll come with an extra bracket here, which bends into a tray that connects the 2 arms, gives you another place to like just drop the small things like little tools or whatever. And like I said, here are you'll get 4 of these dividers, so you can divide up your dollies in there. You'll get 1 of each size of arm. These all click into the side, like we say, and then wherever you like them, for whatever dollies you've got, you can just tack weld them on, and it'll fit for you. So thanks a lot for watching. Make It Kustom, everybody. I didn't forget. Let's go look at the car. So happy with the way that these door handles turned out. I feel like they're just elegant. You know, like sometimes I make a nice thing and I'm like, wow, I can make nice things. You know, like it's not just dirty 4x4s. So the way it all worked out with the linkage and everything, I'm very happy with. We'll probably, like, this is just kind of mocked up. We'll clean it up when it all comes apart again, but everything works really well. The trunk handle itself, I think, is a nice touch. It's just elegant, you know? Opens, closes, just like the stock one, and one step closer on the Roadster. So I think in the next couple of weeks, you're gonna see Elio and I gonna pick away at the Roadster. We're gonna try and get this thing done, metalworked. And we are prepping for classes. We are going to be working on the files for this guy. I'm sure a lot of you have already expressed in the comments that maybe you want to build this one. Elio and I are both still super stoked. We have been using it and playing around with it, making all different kinds of shapes and bends and breaks. And that's what I'm going to work on next, is make sure that I can get those files out to our Patreon members in case they want to build it, as well as assemble a kit. So watch out for that. Thanks a lot. Don't forget to like, click, subscribe, hit notifications. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.